make all the announcements and whatnot. While we wait on everybody to kind of filter in. I know that people are probably going to be either on their way home from work or just got off work.
I think they'll be coming home from work.
Yeah. Oh, I need to fix the extension. That is. There we go. I need to take that off because y'all are going to be in combat. Oh yeah, I was going to make all the announcements I need to make.
Careful, Trey. You're interrupting a very important conversation. There's just too much going on right now.
There's too much going on right now. Like, we just gotta go, man. Like, right, just turn around.
Oh, my apologies.
Just go right back into space. Yeah. Also, hey, Sai, welcome to the chat.
Is it better?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't bad to begin with.
No, it's a better time. I was
Oh, yes. Always. Always make a time for the favorite dwarf of the party. Best dwarf of the party. He's the only dwarf of the party.
If you replaced dwarf with gnome, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Don't mind me. I don't even know what races everybody are. Yeah, I'm just tired. I have a bit of a hangover. Because
the hangover at your time?
Yeah, I mean, My
pretty nice.
my birthday was back on Wednesday. I finally hit 21. Today's the Sabbath, so I finally got some champagne, and I'm figuring out that grape-based alcohols, I can't process them directly, so I don't get a buzz. I just go straight to the hangover.
Nice.
Yeah,
Skip the foreplay.
just go right into the hard shit. Just old business. So now we just wait on Captain Robot. Yeah, Alleran, and we're all set.
I texted Pat though, and I saw that I don't know, sent a picture of a puppy earlier, so I'm sure she'll be in.
It's actually not going to be because she has because she has the SAT tomorrow, and she's kind of worried about that. So
The SAT?
yeah, because she's still in high school.
Glad I don't have to take that again.
Well, who knows? Maybe one of the sessions we might the fantasy equivalent of the SAT. Now that you mention it,
I did better on the ACT.
yeah, same here. I got like a 30 on the ACT.
Hey, I'm looking at this map. This little town that's in the middle, is that where everything happened?
Yeah.
Oh, so they haven't gone anywhere else on this island?
Yeah, no, not yet. I mean, they're about to be going over to that like little like ruins up in like the top left.
So the little entrance looking way, not the skull over to the right.
Yeah, no, the little entrance looking way.
Okay.
I need to turn off one of the extensions because it has all the stats for the other campaign for all their characters. I don't want that. I want to make it so that it's set to
Since our excursion under the water, have we had a long rest?
yes.
Okay, I'm getting my spell back.
How should I take this back? Right, cool. I've also fixed the
I believe
extension.
we've had several long rests.
Yeah, something like that.
I figured, but I didn't want to assume.
It's just that Schnick was just so engrossed in everything that like was going on. He didn't sleep a wink, and like he's now at like exhaustion level 3 or something.
Yeah.
He's just so excited. I am going to fix a thing. So that we can get the extension working correctly. Because I set up an extension for the Twitch, which is supposed to make things easier for like tracking the health during combat. I don't know how to, but you can't turn it off actually. Didn't realize that. There we go. All right, cool. I have it fixed to show all your health bars and stuff now, so it shouldn't be a piece of crud anymore. Yeah, there it goes. So hopefully, we can get started here. Just a little bit.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
So I will further explain why my week hasn't been going so well. It's because I made the mistake of watching Sonic Heroes.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
It's one of those games where as you watch it, you realize I'm feeling stupider for having this game in existence.
Yeah. There's no like fixing it because like once like you know about it, it just kind of sticks with you for the rest of eternity.
Somebody made this. Somebody thought this was a good idea. Somebody play tested this and said, wow, this is amazing. This is exactly what we want to do with our lives. We should make more of this. And then they did. Then they copy and pasted the game 4 times to make it 4 times longer.
Yeah. Um, I guess in other news, the other group is on to session 3, and they almost died to plants last session. So there's that.
How?
So there's a couple of homebrew monsters that I use every once in a while for like culinary campaigns, or like having like culinary characters that are kind of like within the world, and they're like hostile plants, you know, like a Venus flytrap, but fantasy setting.
Okay, as
And
long as we're not having to fight the gazebo, because I mean that's a horrible creature of unimaginable
unimaginable
power.
power. Yeah. But yeah, so they wasted all their spells on the first one. They killed it in, like within the first round of combat because they spent all their spell slots on it. Because they had a bard block and a
Was it
warlock.
bad rolls or what?
Well, it was a bard lock and a straight warlock, so they kind of just burst it down with, you know, Eldritch Blast and then Hellish Rebuke. So, because the first one had a AOE attack, which it used because they weren't in melee range, and that's the only way for it to hit like range stuff. And so they just popped that, and it did a decent chunk of damage to both of them. And then they immediately said, all right, let's go ahead and get the next ingredient on this list that the barkeep gave us. And then they went after that, and they had no spells to fight it with, so they kind of were just hitting it. And it did not deal a light amount of damage back to them because it took them like 2 or 3 turns in order to go and go kill it. And then immediately after that, they then decided, oh, hey, we're kind of low, but right next to where the last ingredient is, so why don't we go ahead and just grab that as well? And they rolled poorly.
So did they not opt to take the short rest, which allows spell recovery?
I believe that they had short rested at one point, but then they didn't use their spell slots against the last creature. There was a singular there was a singular fairy fire, and then they just swapped back to casting Eldritch Blast. But yeah, now they got all that, and they have a quest to do, so they're going to be doing that next session. A lot of fun stuff. What about your week, Schnecht? Since we're just going around the table.
Been pretty uneventful.
But didn't you visit space in a car or something at one point? Or like was it just from the week before?
No, it was the week before. It was pretty nice, except for 20 minutes before our flight, coming back home, my wife dropped her phone and it fell down an elevator shaft.
Oh no!
I was like, "This isn't real."
Did you at least
Thankfully,
get?
her dad works like 5 minutes from the New Orleans airport, so he just went and picked it up once they were able to get it.
Okay, that's
and
nice.
It's on its way back here. But I was like, "This isn't real."
Sure it is. They designed that elevator slot just wide enough for everyone's cell phone to fall through.
Yeah.
Well, and then when it fell, you can't see. There's no light in an elevator shaft, so it falls onto the ground. It's only like 2 stories total, but it fell face up. So for 30 seconds, the screen was on, just looking at us.
Wow.
Silently screaming, "Help me!
Help
Why
me.
did you abandon me down here?"
Exactly. It's just a picture of our daughter looking back at us. You've abandoned me.
Well, we've abandoned the picture. Not the daughter, the picture.
Yeah.
So sad. But did the phone shatter, by the way?
No, actually. It was pretty surprising.
Wow.
See, I asked because at work, somehow, the phone that's used on patrol has managed to break twice in the past 2 years. And it's always been with a completely shattered screen. And when I say shattered, I mean, have you ever seen a spider web? Now imagine thousands of them layered upon each other. Add that to a window, and every one of those is an actual crack. That's basically what we're dealing with here when I say shattered. Like Prince Rupert's drop type shattered.
What is going on your patrols?
I don't know. I have a feeling that somebody I mean, if you spike that phone onto the ground like you just got a touchdown, like, yeah, bam, nothing would happen to it. Yet somehow it has managed to break in exactly the same way twice now. And I don't know what it is these people are doing. They're not 20 feet tall. Everyone's normal. They're dropped from, I think, like less than 5 feet. It's less than a 5-foot drop, yet somehow it has managed to fall in the 2 times that I know that it has fallen and shattered in exactly the same way.
Wow.
I had a phone once that I dropped from a 2nd floor balcony onto concrete, and it was fine. But when I dropped it 2 feet off of a chair onto carpet, the entire screen cracked.
I once had a phone back when I worked for Domino's, and I dropped it onto the like metal sink that we have back there for like washing all the dishes and whatnot, and it landed right on like the middle section between like each of the like different compartments within the sink, and it just shattered. I had also dropped that phone from the 8th floor of a hotel like a couple of months before that, and it was just fine. Like nothing happened to it, but that like 2-foot drop onto like a thin piece of metal just shattered the entire thing.
stupid phone.
That's where you go to those ads where it shows the phone case where we put a phone case on a balloon that went up into space and then it dropped the phone and the phone's okay. Yeah, but does it survive a less than 2 foot drop onto a presumably soft surface? No. Well then your your case is horribly over designed and for the wrong thing, since
Yeah.
nobody's going to be dropping this phone from space. They're going to be dropping it less than 2 feet off of a couch.
Yep.
Ah, fun with phones.
Yeah.
And to make matters even worse, the guy in charge doesn't seem he's old enough that he knows what a phone case is, but he doesn't seem to understand that there are different types of phone cases.
Yeah. Odd how that works, huh?
Yeah, so he thinks that, oh, well, the phone case that's included, that'll protect the phone. No, the phone case that's included is a scratch case. It will protect the phone against scratches from, your keys or anything else you've got in your wallet, purse, or wherever you decide to shove this phone. I'm not going to judge, but it's not a grip case. It is smooth as glass. It's not a drop case. It has nothing to reinforce it if in the event of something dropping. Uh, it's just there to keep the scratches from scratching the case.
It doesn't even do that very well.
Nope.
Not tell you it's like how many times I would be like, oh yeah, I just need to shove my phone in my pocket for like 2 seconds because all my hands are full and like I have my keys on in there just because my keys and I'm carrying a lot of stuff. I don't have a lot of pockets left, so I just shove it on in with my keys and I put it in there for literally 2 seconds. Take 4 steps and pull it back out to put it on the table, and the screen's just absolutely scratched up now. I
That sounds about right.
yeah, just don't understand.
But what do you expect? It's the included case. It meets the bare minimums of being a case. And that does it cover the phone? Yes. Then it's a phone case. Okay.
All right, if you say so. And if we go off of the previous sessions, we have about 4 minutes until the man himself shows up. He normally gets here about a half hour late because of how his commute goes. So hopefully we can finish all the world info dump that's necessary for the main quest today. Planning on doing like a lot of that. Maybe getting you guys off the island if like we have time. I just don't know as to how I'm gonna do that without having you guys just go right back to the pirate city, which I don't think is what y'all want to do. I just don't know as to what destination it's gonna come to next because I'm gonna probably drop 3 or 4 of them that are possible.
Well, how long has it been since we were with that orc city?
It actually has been more than 2 weeks, so that altar has more than likely been uncovered.
That's at least what's in my mind. Well, I guess it depends what's in these ruins.
Yeah.
Halloran said he's just leaving work, and we can start without him.
Alrighty. Well, then, with that being said, let's get underway then, shall we? Sure. If I remember correctly, last time you guys had just taken a rest here for the evening. And in the morning, you were planning on going to meet with the guide in order to bring you over to the ruins that they have over here. And also to meet with the guy in charge, well, the dragon in charge of them, supposedly.
Or the football.
The football? Yeah, or the football as well. So, with that being said, when you wake up and get dressed in the morning, waiting outside of the housing that they have provided for you is the guide. It's a younger looking fellow. He hasn't fully gotten a grasp of his human form, so there still are some very telltale signs of him being a dragon, being the horns, tail, and the wings. But he kind of just sits out there patiently, just outside the door, leaning up against the wall.
Hey, random interruption here. I am level 0 and have no inventory spells or anything.
Again, Schnicked.
This is the first time it happened to me.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's just making its rounds through, Schnicked. Apparently. And Pathos is a level 6 artificer as well, so let's fix that. Pardis is the only one with an actual functioning sheet that's going to be here tonight.
Hooray!
That is interesting because Pathos is level 4 in D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
So the number is actually wrong, but that doesn't matter.
Oh, well, we're gonna fix that here in just a minute.
Is this something you do or I do? Because there's like these.
This is something that I do, yeah.
Oh, I was just curious. Next to our name, there's these two D&D Beyond logos. I don't know what they do.
Oh, if you click on them, if you click on the red one, then it brings up the import thing, and I don't know if you guys can import off of that. I would assume no.
I don't know. It says start import.
Oh, well, I guess that you can't, but don't press that because I already have it running.
Oh, I have not pressed it.
All right, because I believe.
Oh, white one.
Okay, cool. So it's. It says that it finished up the it finished up the import for Pathos. Pathos is now level 4. Full of his stats correct. Everybody else is level. Iona's now level 4. And Part is now level 4. Everybody updated and their thing closed out, other than you, Schnick. So go ahead and press that story import because it might be on my end.
Okay.
And then you just gotta like leave that up. It'll do it all on its own.
It just told me an image failed. Oh, but it's still importing. I don't know what that meant.
It just means that like one of the images is probably like already in the settings or whatever. Because it says that a lot.
Okay, so this guy that met us outside of the house, is it one that they met last time?
No. It's just a random guide.
And everyone is on the island, or did anyone stay on the boat?
Everybody is indeed on the island. That's what I'm gonna rule it as.
Okay. This thing is in no rush, so I guess we'll just move on while it goes.
Alrighty. Yeah, it takes it a few minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's this dude look like? You said he has dragon parts, but what's he look like in the human side?
Oh, on the human side, it looks to be a boy, probably around the ages of 14 or 16. Brown hair, green eyes. Like he's Caucasian. His scale color on his dragon parts is also brown as well. It's it's kind of more of a muddy brown than like a light brown or anything like that.
Oh, good. His scale color was my next question. Um. Oh wait. So I assume at this point we're all rested. We had our breakfast and we're looking forward to these ruins. So this young chap approaches and Schnick will happily stick his hand out to shake his hand. I don't know if he knows what that means, and then just tell him, "Good morning."
He will like limply shake back, like, "Good morning, sir."
No. Harder. Squeeze a little harder.
Squeezes just a little bit harder. It's like a halfway decent handshake.
All right. I'm Schnick. What is your name?
I do not have a name.
Well, what should I call you?
Whatever you prefer, sir.
Schnick will look
Oh,
back at the
boy.
party. Is anybody good at names?
Nope.
I like it. Son, you will be called Nope.
As you wish, sir.
All right, Nope. I assume you're here to show us the way to the ruin.
That is true, sir.
Then, quite the conversationalist you are, so show us the way.
All right, sir. He goes ahead and he turns and he starts walking off in the direction of what is assumed to be the ruins.
Then I guess the rest of us follow.
Alrighty. Kind of walking up to it, you do pass along the beach and whatnot, and you do get a better view of that large shipwreck that you had seen while coming in. It doesn't have too much really playing out from like your average cargo vessel. Other than that, it looks fairly fresh. Like maybe within the past couple of weeks, it probably was destroyed and then washed upon shore. The parts that are no longer submerged are more or less dry, but like they haven't started rotted or anything. So just from looking at it, like there might be some like supplies on in there because as far as you can tell, the dragons aren't really big on taking stuff from outside, be it people or supplies, so it's probably been untouched there. But other than that, up ahead of you is this large structure, which most of the outside of it has crumbled down. The staircases are kind of worn down into almost a ramp at this point, with like slight juts out of it here and there. And it appears to be made out of marble or some stone similar to it. It's a very clean, like a light gray, whitish rock. And the entrance has two pillars, which at one point were probably very ornate and carved. But at the moment, it looks more smooth with only a very small amount of some of the etchings still barely being visible on it. And these large green copper doors that are sitting on the front of it that have been kind of peeled out and back to just let entry in as they had rusted shut. And as he walks you through there, it changes from being a stone made structure into one made of metal, which looks very similar to the rooms that you had first happened upon out in the woods. But the main difference here is that there appears to be power to this entire area, with the lights being fully functional. Several of the inner doors, which your guide, Nope, leads you through, will open automatically, sliding outwards and then sliding back on in behind you. There are several odd noises happening around you. Some of them you can more or less akin to similar sounds, like metal hitting metal. Some like sort of piston going off in the distance. But some of them are closer to like bird song, but more unnatural in their audio. And after several more minutes of him, like I'm leading you through winding pathways and forks and intersections, he does eventually bring you to a large room where there is two men standing inside of, one of which shares a very close similarity to I already forgot her name, to the Dragon Queen. The name's gonna come back to me at some point. With like just like very bright, striking blue hair that's been like pulled back into a like neat comb, and some like very nice looking finery for his clothing, and rings on almost all of his fingers with many different rare jewels grained onto them. And standing beside him, also working on a console as well, next to him, is this very like wizened old man who's like hunched over with like long white hair and a long white beard, which reach down past his waist, and he's fiddling with several of the lights, switches, and buttons that are on the console in front of him, and muttering to himself.
What a fun place we have discovered.
I'm sorry, I Heard the old man. What was the thing next to him?
He's working on a console, and the thing next to him appears to be a younger gentleman, like maybe 30, 35, something like that, with like bright blue hair combed back, um, and like very fine looking clothes. He has a striking resemblance to the Dragon Queen that everybody had an audience with earlier.
Does Nope say anything, or does he just bring us to the spot?
He just brings you to the spot, and then he just walks off to the side and stands by the door.
Before he walks off, Nick's just going to look at him, see that he's not introducing us, and say, well, are you going to introduce us? Nope.
So this is the son of Her Majesty Morgan, and the old fossil over there is the great monotone. He's in charge of the whole facility.
Monotone?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, thank you, Nope. Thank you. Gentlemen, nice to meet you.
Morgan will look up and see, and I'm seeing you kind of just walk over and like sprout out his arms. Go, yes, hello. You must be the fellows that mother was telling me would stop by today. So what could I help you with?
We can get to business later. What is this place? What are you doing here? What do you got going on?
Well, as for what this place is, that's a bit of a complicated question. Many eons ago, there was much more advanced technology. We're starting to happen upon it again, what with the advent of the artificer and whatnot. But back, way before even, I believe my mother's time, there were these great civilizations where most of the modern races actually span from today, who had learned how to manipulate the many energies of the worlds, and had used those to then better their own lives and bodies. Some even say of rumors of just immortality, not unlike the liches, but still being able to hold on to their flesh and soul at the same time, along with their sanity, of course. But something happened. We aren't quite sure as to what. That's kind of what we're doing here, is we're looking through the many logs and records on the systems. There are quite a lot. To maybe piece together as to why they had just disappeared or gone into ruins, so to speak.
Is this the only place like this? Have you seen any others?
No, sir. This isn't the only one. We are actually also connected to several other ones here that some of my kin and relatives are actually living nearby. It's how we stay in contact and keep everything connected without having to leave and risk exposure to the outside world, as currently the dragons are not friendly to the average races after the murder of my dear father.
So you said this place looks like the other one, so there's like the wires running everywhere and whatnot?
Yeah, but the wiring, it is a lot more cleaner here, and you actually notice less of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, how is this place running?
Well, we managed to adapt part of the main generator to make use of some of the forces of the ocean and the lake, which is nearby here, to supplement some of the power, and had managed to restore some of the function to the actual main power source here.
Well, I hope you had a better answer than that one, because we found a similar place that seems to be quite abandoned. We would like to use it, but it has no power.
Well, if you would so like, I could possibly speak to Mother about sending some people to try and restore it. At least partially.
Snook will look at Pardis with the look as if to say, "Do you think this is a good idea?"
I don't think anything is a good idea anymore. However, I don't see any other option that we have if we wish to have it running once again. I'm not exactly an expert, and looking around, it seems that some experts are here. Therefore, why not use their services?
Uh, Snook will point at him excitedly and say, "Exactly. We would gladly ask for your assistance."
All right then. Well, I shall have a talk with Mother after we finish here. She sure didn't have much of an issue at the very least. Um, Allowing your technical friend to have a talk with the many experts here.
So I did watch kind of everything I could on the Twitch stream of what you guys did last week. However, for more serious questions, go ahead, Pardis. You were there.
Oh?
I don't know exactly. I can't remember why you guys wanted to come to the ruins.
It was Pathos mostly who wished to know what was going on in here.
It was primarily Pathos.
Oh, great. I wonder what questions he had.
Probably a lot. Probably good ones. Probably similar to what you asked as well.
One would probably be the loom question of are you my mother, except instead of that being that one, it would be am I your father?
I am your father. No.
Oh, that's right. One of these people made him? Or we don't know that yet.
What the question on his mind is currently is that the Dragon Queen Dela, I just remembered her name, and I don't know why I forgot that. But Dela had talked about how her husband was also a artificer, and during the last selection, as it was called, there was a sort of like Groundhog Day thing happening where everybody but one person was like forgetting everything,
Right.
and then restarting a loop. And so her husband had thought of a way of how to work around that by making a robotic body to store all of his memories into and have it be able to kind of be anchored, sort of, so that it wouldn't forget the last iteration, so that like it would continue to like keep the memories, or like at the very least remember some of it as it kept going through the next iteration, sort of like deja vu.
Oh, okay, okay. So
Yeah,
this kid that we're talking to, is he a dragon?
As far as you can tell, he doesn't really show any signs of it. He looks to be just a plain human. And you're a hold on, I need to remember. You are a paladin sorcerer, so you can actually tell that he's a sorcerer as well.
Just can't tell if he's a dragon.
Yeah, no, you just can't tell. Well, having being a sorcerer would mean that he's not a dragon, because you can't be both,
that's
because
true.
sorcerers are, yeah.
So I guess Is he? I guess what I'm asking is, does he look human, or can we tell is he like a dragonborn, or what?
He looks human.
Oh, okay. And then the guy next to him also.
The guy next to him looks human. However, from how Morgan had addressed him, and just from his name, he's probably a dragon just in human form.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, then I'm gonna. So Schnick will ask Morgan who the other gentleman is.
Oh, I believe that I gave his name, didn't I?
Yeah. You said monotone or something.
Yeah. Monotone. It's like
Yeah.
it's like monotone, but with an M.
Yeah, but I mean like more than his name. Like who is he?
Oh, like who is he? Oh yeah, fair enough. Monotone is the sort of expert on these matters. He's one of the oldest dragons, being several thousand centuries old, and he was actually alive. Granted, he was only a child at the time, but he was there for when these civilizations were still around. So, out of all of us, he has the best understanding of it on a basic level.
Well, that's intense.
Indeed. The man older than modern history.
Is there anything in particular you're searching for?
For the most part, we are just searching for as to what had happened to these groups before.
Do these logs go back only to the civilizations back then, or all of history?
There's a lot of meteorological data on everything that's been happening since then, as there seem to have been some automated systems that were functioning for recording climate and other data points, which we've also been going over, which go up to a couple thousands of years ago, back when this facility supposedly died, probably about 25,000, probably around 25,000 years ago. So we've also kind of been going over that just to see as to how the world has changed.
That is much further back in history than I was thinking. So he told us what this place is, kind of how it works. We can assume Pathos has gained some information about possibly powering our base, and we can let him know what he knows later.
We could potentially do that.
Unless he happens to show up like right
now.
Yeah.
Now. Damn.
No.
Damn. It was definitely worth a shot though.
I'm gonna ask this guy if he knows anything about the previous selection.
You can most definitely ask him.
But what to ask specifically? Hey, we weren't far off. You just popped in.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Did we haven't heard this guy's age yet, right?
Martin Tome? Oh no,
No, Morgan. But I mean,
Morgan.
he's got a. If she's the Dragon Queen's kid, I guess.
Yeah. So if you ask Morgan for his name, he will mention that he's about 32.
Years?
Yeah, 32 years old.
Oh, he was married like 700 years ago.
What?
Dragon Queen.
You're breaking up a little bit.
I thought the dragon had him a century ago.
That was the daughter.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, no. Oh, so the dimensional twists are not that you were explaining. That isn't.
What?
From last week, you were the two universes, the two dimensions that have kind of twisted together. That's more recent.
So that was a part of the last election, which was the like 500 years ago. However, the murder of the dude who was the Dragon King was more recent. Like he had managed to extend his life.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was
Okay.
murdered recently, so he's had like other children like within those 500 years.
Okay. I just assumed everything happened in that 500 years ago. Okay, that makes more sense.
The daughter was born during that, which is what Dela had mentioned, but this is the son who was born after the fact.
Okay, then I don't have any questions for this guy. I thought he was much older.
Well, Montone is much older. I mean, like he told you that that Montone was alive when the civilizations who made these ruins were around.
That is a true story. But I guess here's my question in understanding the storylines here. So we thought we were on a quest to select the gods. Now it's an even bigger choice of unraveling these universes, right?
Yes.
Was that the original group? Were they actually on a quest to choose gods?
Is that asked in character or is that asked to me?
Well, I'm asking you if we know this.
From what Dela said, the selections of gods was kind of more of a thing that came out of it after the fact, because whatever solution they had come to kind of broke whatever the Groundhog Day situation was. So then the Groundhog Day thing timeline kind of got changed to fit a different narrative from what their original goal was. And since there had been a dark god sort of hounding them, it kind of just turned into a god selection thing. So that was like the biggest thing happening around the quest, which was a constant outside of them trying to fix the knot.
Okay. So they were then on the same quest, just the solution's just been postponed essentially.
Yes.
Okay, that makes more sense. No, I didn't. I just wanted to make sure they weren't like on something totally different.
Yeah, no.
And in between this happened. Okay. Yeah, then I'm gonna ask the older guy what, and I don't know, maybe let me ask you this first. Did she tell us what they did, what their solution was?
She had mentioned that the gnome, which was the cause of it, had gone off, and if I remember correctly, what I had her say was that she had gone off and met with the father guardian, the one who manages all the dimensions and creates all the other guardians.
That's right.
The gnome had met with them and made some solution through that to fix it, but she doesn't know what that solution was.
And she was more closely tied to the last party
Hold on.
than this guy. Okay.
Hold on. I thought that the solution they did last time was choosing which gods to seal away and which gods not to, because a choice of that much consequence was enough to sort of like bust the bonds or stretch the bonds. And did I misunderstand that? I thought that was pretty clear.
That's what she said was kind of like what it was for you guys. Was that making a choice of that magnitude would fix it for you guys? But like she had mentioned that the gnome had gone off and made a deal with the gate guardian for something, but that she doesn't know what, and that could have been the gods, but that she's not positive on it. Which, so basically what like she had said was that more than likely it was the selection of the gods, but that what was the byproduct was that the gnome then gave up on leaving the sort of loop and like had her ties to the other dimensions kind of like changed or whatever, so that it wasn't pulling in any extra stuff. And then they thought that since the like sort of, I guess the best way to explain as to what she said was that there was a line tied to the gnome, which the father guardian then cut, which then made it so that she could not leave or transfer dimensions anymore. And then they thought that that would then have undone the knot because the line holding it together would have been severed. Which at first it seemed to be the case, but it was kind of more of just like a temporary fix.
And this
Because
gnome,
she was the one that angled them together in the first place.
Yes.
So
and the
by
gnome
cutting,
was,
so by cutting her away from other dimensions, that would untangle the things. But
Yes,
so they
it
didn't
was.
have anything to do with choosing gods. The last card.
What it was that since the Groundhog Day thing wasn't happening anymore, and since the sort of line of her having been come from another dimension was no longer a factor, the sort of timeline had changed, then fit whatever the next closest narrative was. And since one of the dark gods had been hounding the party throughout their entire adventure, then that then became a part of the new sort of history.
Okay, but is that a real part of the history that was like molded by time to fit this thing, or is that just what people
Yes.
say and believe? Option A or option B?
Option A. I guess that as far as you guys could tell, it's option A, but there is like still like a bit of doubt as to if it could be option B as well.
Okay.
and this gnome was not one of the party members.
The gnome was one of the party members. It was
okay.
Wanza, yeah.
Oh well, okay, that answers like 4 of my questions.
So we're being chosen now to decide upon the next gods in order to make a choice of enough consequence to finish the job that they started. But
Yes.
it sounds like there might be other ways to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's why we need to meet
from-
that father guardian guy. I think that's why we need to meet him.
Yeah, and just to fill in Trey, because I don't know if Trey had heard this part of the story, but you guys had been selected because you guys have some sort of tie to the original members of the first party, in some manner or another.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear that part. That's nice. Back to these ruins real quick. Why? So, what they're looking at on the console? You said they're reading logs, right?
Yes.
Can we tell if what they're reading looks like that one language no one can understand that we found?
So when you look at the console, half of the screen is that a language which you guys couldn't read before, and then like as like that kind of like shows up onto the screen. On the other half, it starts like putting up a text in Draconic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of like translating it.
I guess to fill Pathos in real quick. We went into the ruins you wanted to go into, and it basically looks like our secret base, except everything's powered.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
And the two people at the console are the oldest dragon ever, and the current queen's son, who looks like a human sorcerer, who's 32 years old. But that guy promised that you would be able to talk to some technical people who managed to power this place, so you could try to learn how to power our place. And now you're caught up to where we are. Oh, they're reading logs. They're reading historical logs in this thing for a civilization that existed so long ago we can't fathom it, pretty much.
Got it. Well, I speak Draconic.
But I'm going to ask this Morgan. I'm going to ask Morgan. No, go ahead.
I speak Draconic. And where are these technical people?
We're standing right by them. But I'm going to ask the Morgan guy. I'm going to point to the screen that's in the old language and ask if he can read that.
I cannot read the script of the ancients. However, we did gain assistance from somebody who can in order to program, he had called it, the consoles in order to translate it to Draconic for us.
Hey guys, we're having a toddler meltdown over here, and I may also need to be over there for dinner. Please feel free to continue. I'm sorry, I'm going to be dropping in and out tonight.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Can you? So I'm gonna then. I don't know how to phrase this. I'm basically trying to ask: does it have to be a log that he pulls up in the computer to be translated, or like if we showed him something, could that be translated?
From my understanding of the program, it can only translate script which is already in a file. It has to appear onto the screen in order for it to be able to translate it, because it reads the lettering in its digital format and then translates it over for us. Is how it was explained to me.
Well, giraffes.
I believe if he hasn't been killed, the man who actually did indeed program this for us is still alive and kicking. I don't know as to what his actual where his actual whereabouts are, but he is similar to my father in the fact that he should not die of natural causes.
And who may this be?
I never met him personally, so I do not quite know his name, and my mother is not quite fond of him, so she has neglected to share with me as to what he is known by. But from what I've gathered from Monotone is that he is actually one of the ancients. Apparently, he had survived using one of their just machines to survive whatever cataclysm had assaulted his people. However, he was more kept in storage, is what I'm hearing, instead of being preserved. So he was not awake. I guess is the best term for it, for what happened. Otherwise, we would already have our answers.
What about this old guy? Does he know his name or anything about him?
As far as I can tell, Monotone did not see his name as important information, and with his waning age, I highly doubt if he would even remember it. However, Monotone, would you happen to know the name of the fine fellow who helped us out with the translation? And the old dragon slowly, pushes himself up to more of a standing bow off of the console, and he slowly turns with his wizened expression, and he goes, from what I can remember, let me see here. Let me just rack the old noggin. Now, if I remember correctly, I believe his name was. His name. Hold on, just a minute. His name was. Was. I believe his name was Tigan. That sounds about right.
Can you tell us anything else about him so we could try to find him?
He likes to wear a mask which uses a similar function to our console. However, it's more robust from what I remember. It's a visual, it's the written, it's the verbal, somatic, it's just all encompassing.
And you have no idea where he is. What could have gone?
He may have gone back to the main facility that they had all gone to in the beginning. I believe that they called it the headquarters or something like that.
Do you know where that is?
I can't say I quite remember. I don't leave the island much, so it's not necessary for me to know locations.
Oh, no issues. Thank you, sir.
And yes, quite so. He slowly turns back to his little console.
So the father of Guardians, the queen said, no one knows where this guy is, right?
No one knows where Tigan is?
I'm sorry?
So is that the question of nobody knows where Tigan is, or nobody knows where the father of Guardians is?
Oh, so both. Okay, I see. Both, yeah. No one knows where they are.
Yeah, nobody really knows where either of them are, because like the father of Guardians is, like the father of Guardians, not many people get like an audience with him. Tigan is kind of just fallen off the map because he did his thing helping out here, and then supposedly like he kind of just went off and did his own thing, either to get peace and quiet or to answer his own questions.
Yeah, so I don't have any other questions. I don't think Partis said he didn't either.
Alrighty.
Unless you want us to, I guess, cover what we need to know about the base.
I guess we're kind of just waiting to see what questions Halloran has for the Ask the Experts for the Reddit AMA of technology.
Yeah. We can, well, whenever he manages to pop on again, retroactively hold that conversation if we want to move on.
Yeah, let's go ahead and move on just to keep things moving. And when he gets on, we'll retroactively just pop back in and we'll have like a little side off for it.
So I don't think when I watched the last session, I don't think there was anything else really to do on the island that the guys had planned, right?
Nothing as far as I can remember.
That's a negative. Nothing there.
So I guess on our walk back, I mean, looking at this map, I assume we don't really need a guide to go back.
Not particularly.
Yeah, but it would be nice to ask about that ship if we could, loot it. Since, I mean, nobody's going to come by to get it. And apparently the dragons here aren't that interested either. So why leave what's there to go to waste?
I mean, why ask? Let's just go.
Because they're dragons, that's why.
Todd's like, I would rather not get murdered.
See, here you got to play the game. So if we go ask the people in the town, they may have something to say. But if we go ask the people in the ruins real quick, they may not care. They're already busy with something.
And also, if it's the son of the Dragon Queen, he's by definition a prince, so he probably holds power.
Hey, so Schnick's going to run back to that guy who he seems to have gotten along with and ask him if he minds if we go into that ship. Well, first he's going to ask if anyone that he knows of has taken anything from that ship. And if not, if it's okay if we go looking.
So he'll go ahead and, for your first question, go, well, I've had my own perusing through the many wrecks of the ships around here, and he'll kind of like hold up his hand, which is adorned in like many different rings with like rare gems cut on into them.
Mm-hmm.
However, I don't believe that anybody has really looked through it other than myself and some of my siblings.
Well, did you leave anything?
When I had passed through, there was still quite a bit. There's only so much a single person can take.
Oh,
especially considering my strength compared to some of my compatriots.
I guess the question is it fair game or only for dragon?
Oh yes, it is quite fair game. I mean, my mother and the other older folks don't really care for it, and the ones who live off the island who don't have any need to leave or currency don't quite need it because we don't trade or anything. It's kind of just do it yourself.
Fantastic. Happy hunting. And he gives him a thumbs up and runs back. And he'll run up to the Pardus and everybody else and say, he says it's fair game and there should be stuff left on it.
Both good things to know.
About how far is it from the shore?
So going off of the point that it's kind of like beached up on, it's right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So from that being the like nearest point above water, it's probably 20 or 30 feet to like the end of that sandbar, with it being up at like high tide. And most of it you could probably just wade up to, and then like you probably would have to like swim for like the last 10, 15 feet.
Oh, fantastic. That's what I was getting at. How far do we have to swim? Okay. Well, Stick's going.
I'm assuming that he takes off his armor to get into his undersuit or birthday suit, whichever one is what he wears underneath of that heavy armor.
Yes. Well, yeah, he'll take everything off. He doesn't want to be wet.
Woo! Naked no.
Yeah, he will bring his sword with him. You never know. The guy did not say it was clear of creatures that live there.
Yeah.
Partis would go with him.
He has to decide, money versus wet. You gotta weigh his options. All right, so as you swim out to it, there is been a hole which, for lack of a better term, has been punched into the side, which is big enough for somebody to walk through, basically. And inside, again, are like several crates and stuff, a lot of which have been like popped open or turned over onto their side or like ripped in half, spilling their contents all over the ocean floor here. But there are still like a few here and there that haven't been like opened. They're like mainly like labeled spices, food, or just like raw, sort of just materials. It looks like all of the processed stuff has like already been like rifled through.
So you're saying the ones that haven't been rifled through are all labeled food items, essentially?
Yeah, are like food items, ores, like just like unprocessed materials or like stuff
Is
that
this
like.
Is this room or area that we're in pretty much the only accessible place of the ship?
This is the cargo hold. You could still like head up to like the deck. You could swim over to where the captain's quarters are. You could find out wherever the crow's nest is, because that has fallen off and is sitting on in the ocean, rotting slowly, but it's relatively untouched because this is a fairly fresh wreck.
Well, Schnick learned in the last underwater adventure that the captain's hold can hold some nice things, so that's what he's looking for.
All right. So when you make your way over to the captain's hold, you do see the footlocker sort of thing that like you had seen on the last ship. It's already been popped open and looted. Over on the back wall, sort of, which is lying at the like on the lowest point, is a small little like box with a small clasp on it and a hinge on the back. It looks to like maybe be a music box or like a jewelry box of some kind or something like that. It hasn't been opened. Also in here is a like captain's hat, and over on the wall hanging up is a bandolier with several black powder grenades, and it like barely sits above the water. So the black powder is still probably dry and still probably like usable. It has 3 black powder grenades on it. Other than that, there is a dagger with a barrel kind of attached on the bottom of it, and it has a singular shot in it. There doesn't seem to be any like extra ammo anywhere.
You said a dagger with a barrel under it?
Yeah, so like
Nice.
it's like a gun knife basically with like a single shot barrel on it.
Interesting. Do we know what the grenades are? Have we seen them?
They're just black powder grenades, like the ones that like they have in pirate movies.
Well, yeah, but I mean, is it a common thing? Do our characters recognize it, or is it one of those old
Yeah.
technologies we found?
Yeah, I mean, like black
Okay.
powder stuff has
Okay.
been discovered. Like modern guns and stuff like on it, but like flintlocks are a thing.
Okay.
That's like the most advanced gun or like weapon that like you can find is like a flintlock or a musket, a cannon.
Okay. Well, Schnick's going to ask Pardus if he wants any of the powder or the dagger, but he wants to open the box himself.
Not interested in either. More interested in finding a logbook if there is one.
Sure, well,
There
I'm
is a
gonna-
logbook.
What was that?
There is a logbook.
Oh, then that's what he'd get and try to see if he can recover and salvage anything from it.
It is quite wet. However, it appears that the ink used is a waterproof ink. So it is still like readable. The pages are kind of just wet, so you gotta be like a little bit careful with it and probably wait for it to dry for like you start opening it and like reading it. But peeling open the cover would just reveal that the ink is waterproof and readable as long as like you just like leave it be.
Then he would grab that book and wait until it was dry later on.
All right. Also, like that's pretty much what the dagger looks like. I just posted it in the out of character chat. It's more or less what the gun knife looks like.
Dang, I just read prestidigitation. I thought I could dry it off, but I can't.
Hey, I'm back.
Hey!
Back.
Sorry for the in and outs. What's up? What's going on next?
Well, now we're exploring a sunken ship again.
Yeah, and we said that once you got back, if like you wanted to talk with the experts, we'd go ahead and do like a little aside for that. So do you want to do that right now, or do you want to hear like what they've kind of like rifled through and then do that?
Sure. No, let's go to the action. Like, if you're good with it, Ace, I wouldn't mind doing like an aside with the experts one-on-one with you in Discord at some point.
Yeah, sure.
Just because that's going to be very, one-on-one. Like, hey, what do I do for this?
Yeah, we can most definitely go ahead and do that, or like we could just DM back and forth for that. I don't particularly have to like have that down for the stream. Like we can just have that like added in like post.
Sure. Yeah. And really, it's just like, how do I power it? What do I need? Can you give me the equipment? Like.
Yeah. Going off of that, can they give you the equipment? Yes. How do you power it? I'll DM that to you. And
then what are the basis capabilities? But that just
sure thing.
That's an island. That's Dragon Island.
Oh yeah.
All the
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Yep.
What's up, Trey?
I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, Pathos. The other thing I forgot to tell you. Apparently, these ruins can link to each other. Like they communicate. The guy was saying he communicates with other things that are similar to it.
That's perfect. We can call them back when we have more questions about this incredibly confusing timeline problem.
Just have the dragons on a speed dial.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty much.
So anyway, back on the ship, here's what you've missed that I'm going to give to you because Pardus and I don't want them. You've got 3 black powder grenades and a dagger that's in the chat and Discord that has 1 shot left in it but no ammo.
Yeah.
I can fix that. Anything is ammunition if you have enough ambition.
It's a black powder gun knife, and he just loads a potato maliciously.
But while Pardus is waiting for this book to dry, the little box I found, I want to see what's in it.
So
Jewelry box, whatever you called it.
So
so that was 3 grenades.
Yeah, so 3 black powder grenades.
They're in a bandolier.
1 gun knife. You just mark that down as a flintlock and a dagger, as far as like it is concerned.
Okay. Can do. grenade. I got a Nomen Guard grenade, grenade fragmentation, Tangler grenade. I'm just going to use this fragmentation grenade. Oh, Jesus. All right, so this fragmentation grenade does 5d6 damage.
Hold on. Let me look at Teeny Beyond for the actual grenade that I was talking about.
All right. That's what I'm looking at too. Is
Why do you have red?
because I like red, like you.
Oh, I see your robot character.
Yeah. He's up there.
What's your robot character called?
Okay, here it is. It is just called Bomb. That's what it's called here, you know.
Bomb.
Yeah, it's
Got
literally
it.
just called Bomb.
Excellent.
Two.
It's
Oh.
only
And I get
3d6
three
fire
of them.
damage. Yeah.
I'll take it. And then this white pistol. Got it.
Yeah, that's just.
Okay, got it. But no shots.
It has a singular round in its chamber.
1 round.
Yeah. That's all you need.
There's an engraving here. It says Jack Sparrow. Got it.
Spac Jero, actually, because we don't want to get copyright claimed.
I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, what was the question? Sorry.
7, 8.
It's Spac Jero, because copyright.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
engraving would
Spectrum.
be. Yeah.
Okay. And we're on a ship somewhere?
You're on that little shipwreck that's like off the west side of the
Got it.
island. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Oh, the box, and then I think we're done on the ship.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you open up the box, it is like just like a little music box. So when you crack it open, I'm assuming on land it does play just a melody. It has a small mirror in it, and a ring with a garnet on it.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I really want to put that on, but I don't at the same time.
It could be cursed.
I'm taking the ring out of the box. I'm gonna keep them both, but I want to keep the ring separate.
All right.
Hey, I have a question.
Yes.
On behalf of our warlock friend, is there perhaps a library or something around here where he could transcribe various what do you call them? Ritual spells?
Rituals, yeah.
Yeah.
They don't
Or
really have.
or something that can teach him. I know he needs materials to transcribe it, but still, like we're on Dragon Island, and you know.
And they're known for their hoarding.
Sure, and for knowing a bunch of magic stuff.
Yeah. So with the dragons, they don't really have a library or anything like that because all their magic is natural magic. So like it functions the same as a sorcerer. Like you don't need a spell and component. Well, you do need the components, but like there's no recipe because they kind of just do it. If you're looking for components and stuff like that for like casting and stuff, like they do have plenty to spare. If you like, you want to grab some of that stuff without having to like pay for certain components that would be consumed upon casting a spell.
I wasn't thinking of components. I was thinking of
Like
the
spell
materials
books and
necessary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know exactly how his Book of Shadows works, but yes.
It should be the same as a regular spell book.
Yeah. And because they're dragons and all their magic is natural, they don't really have spell books. And the only other people who are here are sorcerers, who are the offspring of dragons. Which again, they don't need spell books for their stuff. So again, there's not really anything here in that regard.
In that case, since it's something that they don't need, does there happen to be anything on the ship that involves inscribing into spell books, as in spellbook inscribing components? That's
Yes.
kind of the question.
They do have the ink. They have a box of the ink used for it, and it's sealed, waterproof.
How big of a box?
Like enough to stock a medium-sized store in like a city. So, like, if you crack that thing open, it's probably like 400 bottles of ink stuck on in that thing.
Then that's something worth taking.
Holy cannoli!
Yeah, really.
It's got to be so many spells. Now you just got to find them. I think you're set, buddy.
You could also like sell it as well.
Well, sure, but like, I don't even think there's that many ritual spells in this game.
Yeah, but like there are plenty of stores that would sell that. Otherwise, they wouldn't have it in the cargo box.
Exactly. So we finish getting all the spells, then we sell the ink.
Step 1, copy over the spells. Step 2, Step 3, profit.
Speaking of spells, I don't have any to let me know what this ring is, but by looking at it, do I sense it's anything other than a ring?
Yeah, like it is. It does give off a feeling of magic to it.
Doesn't somebody? Oh yeah, Pathos is on the boat with us. I'm gonna ask him if he can detect magic right now. I think it was Pathos. Someone knows detect magic, I believe. So
I thought that somebody knew identify.
oh, do they?
Yeah, I thought that somebody.
I
knew
have detect
identify.
magic ready. I have detect magic ready. I will cast it.
All right. It does have.
Take me
It
warm
does
up
have.
But yes.
It does have enchantment magic on it of the abjuration school.
This ring is enchanted with abjuration magic. I cannot tell the exact nature.
But I can.
I was gonna say I'm just gonna put it on because I know abjuration's not that bad, but then I realized Schnick doesn't know that.
When I it's like protection magic. When God, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, since I have detect magic up, I can do a little sweep of the ship.
Oh. While he is. Well, he said since he has detect magic up, he was just going to conduct a sweep around the ship. But while he's doing that, Pardis offered to identify this ring. Let's see what that is.
It is
it
a
takes
ring.
10 minutes. You'll get the what's magical in this area first.
Yeah. Oh, okay, fantastic.
So what's magical in this area is just the ring and the magical ink. That's magical.
Cool.
Lame.
I mean, it was rifled through by dragons and sorcerers previously, so.
You're not wrong.
I mean, hey, look, cool ring, cool gun, cool bombs, cool ink. This is a net gain.
No, it's not cool ink. It's a lot of cool ink.
You are not wrong. And you do have a ring of storage. Wait, was it a ring of storage or a bag of holding? I can't remember which.
We've got both with everyone.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because I've got a bag of holding, and he has his genie lamp.
Oh yeah, that's right. And this ring is a ring of mind shielding.
Ring of mind shielding.
Yes.
Let me look up what that is.
It's a handy one.
Yeah, that's right.
It is handy. It is also occupied, is what the identify will also tell you.
Wait, occupied, you said?
Yes.
Oh, well, you said that at the same time that I started reading the bottom paragraph. So if you die while wearing the ring, your soul enters it. That's interesting.
And apparently somebody
so
died
don't put it
while
on.
wearing the ring. Well, like they can't do anything, then telepathically communicate with the rarer who was attuned to it.
Well, Shake's going to ask who needs their thoughts protected the most, because he doesn't think it's him.
Warlock doesn't particularly care.
Yeah, this is interesting. We haven't encountered anything that needs to read our thoughts yet. May as well just go to somebody.
Snick will keep it but not put it on. He's going to remember this in the future if he needs it.
I mean, there is a cavalier.
Well,
we'll talk to her about it when she comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can let's have somebody put it on. I want to know whose soul is in here.
Oh, I guess that's true. Would we know? Oh, you said he knew it was occupied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, then wait, is this something I can take off? Hold on. Okay, yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I'll slide it on. Since you said it was, so if Pardis tells us that it's occupied, Snick will see. Well, let's see who's in it.
Hey, Charlie.
All right. So when you put it on, so what you hear is, okay, here, hold on. I actually need to remember this guy's voice. Hold on. Well, I'll be damned. It's been quite a while since I've last talked to somebody. Who might I be speaking with?
Well, who are you?
I am Captain Shortpeg of the Great Fleets.
Captain Shortpeg?
Yes, sir.
Are you saying this aloud, Trey?
Yeah, I think I would have said that out loud.
Do I know a Captain Shortpeg?
Yeah.
Other detail you need to add, Tom. Of course.
Yes, no. Roll a history check.
You do not.
Okay.
It does ring a bell, but you do not know of it is.
Okay, well, Schnick, hearing the voice in his head, will, answer back. Well, I'm Schnick. Who exactly is Captain Shortpeg?
I'm Captain Shortpeg, the captain of the many merchant fleets of days of old. It's been many moons since last I sailed the 9 oceans, but back in the day I would shuttle many cargo of all shapes and sorts. Here and there to all of the many countries and continents of this fair land. I was even one of the few who could brave the great expanse of no return of the deeper seas.
How long ago exactly?
It is hard to tell the passing of time when one is restricted to a ring inside of a box. But my nearest comparison would be several centuries.
Schnick will say, well, that's a good point. And then he'll, have you heard anything of a selection of gods at all?
I can't say I have. What is that?
To be honest, we don't know either. We're hoping you had something, but moving on, where did you find this ring?
I had found it on one of my great voyages to the great beyond, past the horizon, off the seas to the south, to the south coast.
So Schnick will tell everybody he's got the centuries-old captain of the merchant fleets who found a ring, basically, and ended up in it. He knows nothing about the gods, and Nick will just ask everyone if they have any questions for Captain Shortpeg.
What happened to his ship?
What happened to your ship?
It sank.
How?
A kraken dragged me into its den. We had a fierce battle above the sea, but once it brought me into its domain, the foul beast consumed me.
The Kraken ate you?
Indeed it did.
Oh, I don't want to think about what happened, Ben. Oh boy!
Yeah. So Schnick will tell Pathos that a Kraken ate him in the ship.
What was his purpose when the Kraken ate him?
What was that?
What was his purpose when the Kraken ate him? Where was he going? What was he up to? Like, what was his
That's
mission?
a good question. So, before you were eaten, what were you doing? Where were you going?
I was performing a service for a new client, one who I had met in a town to the south side. I believe that he had spoken with some others. I remember his name, or I used to at least. But it has been long since, and I have since forgotten. I was running a service for him for building a empire of sorts.
Hey, I'm sorry. I had to step away. My son had a sneeze and blew snot all over his hands and face.
Oh no.
Yeah, Trey, when you give your explanation, I will be hearing it for the first time.
Okay. This an empire like a merchant empire, or someone actually conquering the world?
A little bit of both, I might say. It's more of a shadow empire, I believe is what those in the know would call it. An underground empire.
Oh, so you were a shady individual.
I did deals with all kinds of merchandise.
Hmm. So, Pathos, he was running an errand for a friend whose name he cannot remember, but it was to help build an underground empire. But Schnick will ask him how he ended up near the what he was doing near the Dragon Isle.
Well, I was using the fastest route to deliver from the Great Citadel to Newsburg. No, it wasn't Newsburg. It was Newsenburg. Yes, Newsenburg. I was delivering the most precious of resources from the Citadel to Newsenburg.
What are these resources?
Labor, of course.
Oh, okay.
Oh boy. All right. So he was that kind of a captain.
Yeah, so actually at that, Schnick takes the ring off and throws it on the ground. He's disgusted with this guy.
And the ring magically bounces off the ground and flies over into Pardis's hand.
Schnick has no care for slavers, so he's done.
What caused you distress?
Oh yeah, I forgot I didn't tell you guys what happened. So he was running this underground empire, trying to do something. He said he had a very precious resource. He said he was sailing from the Great Citadel to Newsenburg. I asked what the precious resource was, and essentially, he's a slaver. I've got a bad history of people conquering people and doing who knows what, and I would rather not have anything else to do with it. So I'm done talking to this Captain Pegleg.
Do I know of this great citadel he's talking about?
That was the old name of Orchistan before the orcs made it Orchistan.
Okay. All right. Wait, so this guy lived in Orchistan before it was Orchistan?
He had made a deal between, or had made a delivery between Orchistan before it was Orchistan to someplace else.
So real quick, on the map you gave us, Orchistan was Brecklin. You're saying it was also the Great Citadel?
Yes.
Okay.
It was also known as the Citadel or the Holy City.
Okay.
Wasn't Orchistan where one of those altars was, the one that's been buried?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
yes,
the one that's
that.
probably been uncovered because it's been more than 2 weeks.
That's actually where Snick wants to go. He's just waiting to finish up on this island. The slaver guy got in the way.
He might know something about the ruins of the Citadel when we get there. If you don't want to talk to him, I will.
Didn't Pardis pick it up?
He
He
did.
did. Yeah.
Did he put it on? I don't remember.
Put it on? No, he's just going to hold it for a while.
But so regardless, one of us can talk to him if we need information.
Yeah. Not me.
If you find him distasteful, then we're not going to ask you to do it. Would you be upset if we did so? Like if we needed information about the ancient place and he might be able to give it to us?
Oh, not me. I just don't want to talk to him.
All right.
I would prefer if you learn more about slaves, maybe not telling me about that part.
You got it. Pathos gives him a finger gun.
But
It actually fires it.
Chick will ask,
No, hold on. That's my actual finger gun. Let me use the other gun.
Chick will ask the party, though, whatever happens, he needs to remain the soul in that ring. He does not deserve a rest.
Well, there's not much that you can do to keep him in the ring.
True, but we shouldn't look for ways to free him, I mean.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know how we get him out. All right,
We should
so
not figure it out.
have we finished looking over the ship?
Yep, I would say so. I mean, like, you got all the ores out of it. You got the ink. You got the little box. You got the knife gun.
Yeah, I think your magic sweep pretty much solidified. We're done.
Yeah.
Got it. So now that we've found a bunch of precious ores or various ores of different things. How much metal do we have now? Because we gave most of the metal to the captain that brought us here, right? But I kept the tungsten.
Yeah. So
let me
you
see.
had a box of tungsten.
Yeah, the tungsten's the only thing we kept in the metals.
Yeah. And now you have like 6 or 7 boxes of various ores.
Okay.
On top of that tungsten.
Yeah, how much of the tungsten is there?
There doesn't appear to be any tungsten in like this batch of boxes.
I'm sorry, no, I didn't mean the ores. I meant the refined tungsten that we got in the last ship.
Oh, it's just a box of tungsten. It weighs about. Hold on, let me do a quick calculation.
Way to go, Iron Tyson. Hey, Tom. Looks like you're preparing to give someone a makeover. Aha! It's Ethan's turn today. You're turning him into a bear?
So. Let's see. So inside the box is probably about 120 bars of tungsten, and a bar of tungsten of average shipping size is about 3 pounds. So you have about 360 pounds of tungsten.
That's a lot of good doggone tungsten.
Yeah.
We have a lot of stuff we can make stuff with. We got to start deciding what to make with it, right? Because I've got an assault rifle and a knife gun and some bombs. 300 some odd pounds of tungsten.
I forgot you had an assault rifle.
Yeah. A suit of power armor that honestly, I'm just like having it powered seems like more trouble than it's worth. I just kind of want to rip the guts out of it so that our girl.
Well, ask the technical experts about it.
Maybe, but like it's not even sized for her, right?
It's like.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, it's just a little bit small for her. Like it's like a little bit tight, but like it's not uncomfortable.
Okay. Well, maybe with all this tungsten and other ores, I can make it a little bit bigger.
Because basically right now it's like I'm a form-fitting basically.
Yeah. I just want to, one of the number one rules is the minute you can get your fighter into plate mail, you do it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Especially
make
with the Cavalier.
Yeah, if I can alter its size so that she fits in it, that would be
I
great.
believe that there's actually a spell for that. I think it's like a 5th level spell though.
Well, I do not have that. What I
Yeah.
have is tools and a bunch of raw materials. So yeah, I guess I can ask about the power systems.
You're right. He needs some ears and a nose too.
Well, the city
Yeah.
we're going to go back to right now is not a place I would try to stay and build things.
Getting back to Orchistan.
No, I want to build stuff in our secret lair. You know, set up.
Oh, yeah. I'm just thinking
shop.
we're going to land back in that seedy joint first, and we got to get out of there to...
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys want to try to do. We don't know where the main people are, but we do know there's at least an altar we can go see what's there.
Yeah. I vote we get what we can from this island. We head back. We go back to our secret base. We do what we can with the materials that we've got, because that was the whole point of this, right? The point was like, let's walk around and see if we can get some good stuff.
Yeah.
And in the process, we also got some good information.
Yeah.
Now it's time to make use of the good stuff, because none of it's really, well, some of it is, but so we've got a lot of it that's not really in a form that's useful yet.
That is true, but Orchistan kind of lies between where the ship will take us and our bunker.
Yeah. As
That
long as
is
we can
true.
keep stuff safe. Well,
just don't
Um,
lose Pardis's genie lamp, and we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just from looking at everything, like the place that's probably going to be like the most at a risk of having your shit stolen is probably going to be where the ship's going to drop you off. Like the orcs, the orcs live out of tents, and their only like actual facility is a fighting pit.
Yeah, no, the orcs seemed cool. The orcs seemed totally chill.
Yeah.
These pirates might be a problem. Maybe we can convince the captain to bring us directly back to Orchistan.
Orchistan doesn't have a port because it's just a mountain.
Yeah.
But you could most definitely ask him if like he could like bring you close and just like
Of
have you
like
guys
on
go.
a beachhead nearby. You know?
Yeah. Have y'all drop
like-
off into a dinghy and kind of just head over, kind of like what he did here.
Yeah, because there's that river that's by it. That's not too far off.
There you go.
Anyway, I don't know if we have maps. I'm just looking at it.
We'll take that adventure.
Good job, everyone.
You guys do need a map. You have
Take that adventure.
Okay.
Like a pirate port.
you have a map with all the old names on it, which you got out of the journal.
Yeah, which I'm updating.
Yeah. And I believe that Pardis had bought a updated map as well.
Oh, okay. Well, I vote we go to Orchistan. I've got to step out. I'll be back in a few minutes.
All right. With that being said, why don't we all like take like a quick 5-minute break, like take bio break, grab a drink of water, stay hydrated, all that fun stuff.
Done.
Yep,
All right.
sounds fine.
All right, everybody, be back here at 10:20.
2 thumbs way up.
Alrighty, I'm back.
Cool. Still here.
Alrighty. Everybody else back?
Back.
Alrighty.
So since GM is here, I will state that of all the crates still remaining on the ship that we're still on, we kind of take a inventory of them, find out which ones have metals and things useful for, you know, base building in them, and mark them.
All right. So of the 7 ore crates, you mark 3 of them.
Cool. In that case, if we basically anything else that we find that would be interesting, we'd put basically in one spot, and Pardis would kind of tie a rope around them all and do his little magic trick.
All right. So you put boxes of gold, silver, and bronze into your little genie.
It's a cargo area now, more so than an apartment, but yeah.
Do we have a list of everything that's in there?
Oh, I'm keeping track of it.
Okay. Can you put do you have that box of 300 some pounds of tungsten in there as well?
If you'd have asked him to put it in there, he would have.
I think that's probably the best place to put it for now. Just want to make sure we keep track of it. I mean, this is good. We've got ore, we've got some refined tungsten, we've got a bunch of little bits and bobs we should take inventory of. And then, like, plan out what we might be able to do to make our base a little better. Although, I guess I got to learn its capabilities and its method of powering it first. So after I know that, I think that's when we'll actually be able to have a good discussion about it.
Yeah.
Making sure, what were the 3 new crates that I'm adding to my giant list of things in this particular room that I have? I got crate of bronze, crate of gold, and there was a third thing.
Bronze, silver, and gold is what those
Perfect.
4 various crates were. It was like 2 crates of silver, a crate of bronze, and a crate of gold.
And 1 crate with 120 bars of tungsten.
Yeah, bars of tungsten. And then for the base building stuff, it was it was just 3 boxes of iron and steel. Well, just iron, because steel isn't an ore.
Wait, where did we get that? Was that from the ship?
Yeah, that was from the ship.
Okay. So 3 crates of iron.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, lots of stuff in here.
Yep. With all this being said, if you guys want to head off the island, you could always signal for the dinghy. Other than that, you can meet up with Dayla again, say goodbye or something. I don't know.
I do not know if I am your husband, but if I am, I should say goodbye. So, goodbye.
Alrighty.
Probably how that.
Safe travels, I guess.
All right, I take my leave.
Alrighty. So with that being said, it sounds like y'all are going back to the boat.
I don't have anything else to do here. You guys?
Nope.
Negative.
Yeah, we can head back to the boat.
All right. So you will get back on the boat, and from our talk earlier, I believe that you guys were going to ask to see if you could drop it off closer to Orchistan.
Sorry, say that again.
I believe that you guys were going to ask the captain if he could drop you off closer to Orchistan, correct?
Yes.
Captain. Thank you for waiting for us.
You did
If
pay
possible, if possible, we would like you to drop us off as close as you can to Orchistan.
me. Are you willing to pay extra for it?
Value of a
What
crate of
is it?
silver.
The value of a crate. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. I'll take that.
Hella crazy. I was gonna argue that Orchistan's closer.
It actually is a little bit farther.
Besides, easier this way.
Oh, you're true. This is a crazy map if Orchistan's further.
Because you guys had to go. Hold on. Let me look at the map here just real quick.
Depends mostly on the prevailing winds.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna argue with it. We paid the guy.
Oh yeah. I guess Orchistan would be a little bit closer if like you would go straight to it. But if you look at the picture that's right there, that's going right through danger territory.
That's true. That's true.
So people will either go around to the Darn Armway and you kind of got to hug the coast going that way, or just bang around through Black Ice Bay and go around that little landmass right there, which brings you over to Sarman.
And Orchistan is at Brecken?
Yeah, Brecklin.
Okay.
So because of the monsters there, you can't like really get anywhere near there. So like the closest that he could probably drop you off safely without like losing out on time would be somewhere up in Mass and March, which is why he's asking for a little bit of extra gold to try and edge around the coast to try and get you closer to Archistan and drop you off somewhere on Moodin.
Sure. Yeah, we just have no need to be at
Black Lake. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so just as long as we get the equipment, we need to hopefully set up the the secret base with some communications back to Dragon Island. That should do us. So yeah, let's go that way. Back to Orchistan.
Back to Orchistan. So he goes ahead and brings you over there. It takes about another week to do. It's fairly uneventful.
During that time, I will teach Pardis, as many of my ritual spells as I can.
We've got the ink to do it.
Whoa!
Yep. I know you know something already, but alarm, detect magic, identify, and purify food and drink.
I will add those as soon as possible.
And no, Trey, I'm pretty sure if somebody knows a spell, you can teach it to them.
I thought that was the point of finding it.
In order to write a spell into your spell book, you have to transcribe it or be able to cast it yourself. So, Pathos is a artificer, so they do also use like spell recipes, for lack of a better term. So, like, he could write it down on like a piece of paper for like how like he performs the spells, and then have Pardis transcribe it.
Again, because we've got the ink to do.
Yes.
Oh, we're not running out of ink. That's true.
Yeah. But yeah, so he drops you off. Let me look at the. So he'll drop you off right in the bay. It's on like that first sort of like outcropping that's like where Moodin and Mass and March kind of like almost touch. Like that's like where like he'll like drop you off, which is then from there like a day's walk over to Orchistan.
Okay, so on the eastern side of that, on the eastern peninsula.
Yeah.
Closing in on. Okay, that was real nice of him. But you know, we paid him a whole crate of silver, so.
He did get us some pretty good weapons a while ago.
Yeah. No, I got nothing bad to say about that captain. He does what he's paid to do.
It's a living.
Didn't try to steal from us or nothing.
Well, that's a good point. Everyone count your gold.
It's also not in his best interest to do so, considering he does have a ship and could kind of, crack it in half.
All right.
To Orchistan.
Off to Orchistan.
Right, off to Orchistan. We're now at Orchistan. Just 1 minute. I recenter the page. All right. So you get back to Orchistan, and as you walk up to the gate, one of the orcs will kind of jog over to you, and he'll like wave and like do like a little salute with his hand, and we'll be like, "Oi, hey!"
And comprehend languages is up.
Yeah,
so
that's why I'm talking with the "Oi, hello." You all back? We got the dinghy all dug up and whatnot, you know.
So the tunnel has been completed, you say?
Yeah. We dug it up really good for the bossman.
Most excellent.
Well, let's go have a look.
And Pardis serves as translator at this time.
So we'll go ahead and bring you over to the same area again. Right over there.
Okay.
So go ahead and mark it.
Where's this tunnel? Over there? Okay.
Yeah, I'll just mark it like that.
Please, thank your boss man.
Will do. The bossman, real happy to hear that.
As we get into the tunnel and when we're out of earshot of this orc, I'm going to mention perhaps we should consider some form of payment to these orcs. They have been helpful and asked for nothing in return.
They did ask that when the selection process was being done that you would leave their gods free. Yeah. They never gave you the actual names of what their gods were, but they did ask for that.
We'll do our best. Well, never mind then. Yeah, give them a thing. Okay, so what's in this tunnel?
So when you go far enough in, there is a stone altar made out of like black stone, which is almost growing out of the side of this tunnel, which is a lava tube. It looks to be made entirely out of obsidian and some sort of like fleshy growth.
Ugh.
Okay, I'm going to point out that at this time, Pardis now puts on his brand new shiny ring of mind shielding and informs the occupant that he'd better stay quiet, otherwise he will never talk to him again.
It is silent.
Nice.
Good.
How deep is this going?
It goes in like a good 50, 60 feet to get to the altar, and then like it just winds deeper into the mountain from there.
Oh, it doesn't end at the altar.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because like I said, this does appear to be a lava tube.
Yeah, let's go check this altar out. What's the? You said it's covered in flesh?
Yeah, it's like made out of obsidian with the like etchings on it, like being some sort of like fleshy growth that pulsates at a like a rhythmic beat.
Kill it with fire. That's really gross.
I'm gonna touch it.
What?
I want to poke it.
After you, big guy.
Do you poke it?
Yeah, well, Schnick. Well, I mean, when you say fleshy growth, I mean, are we talking like? Does it look like skin?
It doesn't look like skin. It like looks like just meat.
Oh yeah, I'm poking it with my finger. The meat portion.
All right. So you poke it and it feels warm, and it is most definitely like beating.
Did it feed off of me?
No, it's just like I'm a beating, rhythmically, you know, like pulsing, kind of like it has a heartbeat, and like these are the veins or something.
Well, that's gross.
And it is quite warm and moist.
Well, Snick explains that its warm, moist seems alive and that it's feeding, but what the heck could be feeding? Is the guardian of this altar the altar itself?
No, beating. You know, like
Oh, I thought you said feeding.
no. It's
Okay,
not.
that makes more sense.
It's not a
Yeah,
mimic
like a beating heart.
Yeah, I was like, what's it eating? Okay, that makes more sense.
Okay. I'm going to examine the altar for anything I might be able to tell about it, like any writings or engravings that I can make sense of.
The engravings are the meat. And as far as you can tell, it's a ritual of some sort. Like it's just towards some god or another. It is giving off a lot of magical energy. And yeah, that's pretty much about it.
Does it give off good or evil energy, can I tell?
Don't you have the spell like detect good and evil or something like that?
Yeah, it's just divine sense.
Oh yeah, divine sense. It appears to be neutral.
Oh.
Well, divine sense tells some very specific things, like the presence of demons or angels.
Yeah, I think the other thing here, I'll throw it in there. I think the other thing it tells is like I can detect the presence of something that's been consecrated or desecrated.
Oh, this has been consecrated.
Ooh.
Can I recognize what god it's been consecrated to? Like who is this altar to? Or do we know that?
You do not know that. Partis does, and I'm busy typing out a thing to him.
I would also know if
Okay.
this fleshy stuff is celestial or fiend. Or
Neither.
undead.
Actually.
Oh, I've done my part.
Right,
so
so
it looks like it's an altar made for sacrifices.
it's just an altar with fleshy growths on it, as far as you can tell. I mean, if you think that it's for sacrifices, then you think that it's for sacrifices, but
well, no, I thought
Looks
that
like-
I thought I heard you say that, but I must have misheard, or I'm not remembering right.
It looks like an altar fitting for orcs. There's meat everywhere.
Actually, you know what? Since the thing that this so since there's actually gonna be a talking bit to this, I'm not gonna type this out. So Partis, as you get actually no, never mind. As you get close to this, you do feel something try to communicate with you telepathically. Do you let it?
Sure.
So what you hear inside of your mind is, I'm 10th god of creeds and laws. My God, what the hell would my chosen one? I see that you have found one of my few remaining points of anchorage to this realm. What questions doth thou seek?
Okay, the first question is going to be, can you repeat his name without the accent? Because
Tenet.
Tenet?
Tenet, like a 10th or you know?
Okay, so this is the altar of Teneth.
Yes.
God of what?
Creeds and morals.
Oh.
Interesting. Okay, first question. What is it that binds, or what is this item that you just spoke of?
The item, the altar that anchors him to this realm.
Okay, so it is the altar itself. It's nothing that I have on me. It's just the altar. That's
Yes.
the anchor.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, just making sure. So Pardis lets everyone else know that he's actually talking to something telepathically here, and lets him know what this sort of is.
So also just to clarify, the altar is an anchor. The lamp that you have is a sort of like link, which would then let you communicate with them. I guess that's kind of like what like you were wondering when like you had asked that question. So that's why I'm mentioning this.
And that is the answer that I was kind of looking for. Okay.
What are you speaking with? What are you speaking to, Artis?
It appears to be a god by the name of Teneth, a god of creeds and nobles, and apparently my patron as well.
This god gives you your power.
So it seems.
Well, that's neat. Tell him to give you more.
You tell him to give you more. You don't know what it costs to get it.
At that, Schnick just looks at the altar and is dead silent.
Does this god know of the entwined dimensions, or how we can untangle them?
Let's find out. He asked the question.
So upon asking it that, the question it goes, I do not know of what you speak of. Could you elaborate?
That is an excellent answer. It does not appear to know, and I use that first word loosely, as I do not have a gender here.
It knows nothing of the entwined universes.
I believe that is beyond the god's scope. Much like how comprehend languages didn't work on the writing, it's a similar idea.
I believe I follow. Can it tell us how to decide on the next cadre of gods?
That is a pretty good question. He'll pass that one along as well.
So, just for my own clarification, are you asking it like how do you lock in your votes, or like what does it think are good gods?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
No, the actual process of locking in the votes, like we'll deciding which gods should be around is kind of pointless until we know how to actually, as you say, lock in our votes.
Yeah.
Until we know how to do that, we may as well just be smoking pot in a room trying to think of like how the U.S. government should run. Like, it's fucking pointless.
There should be free healthcare for everybody. Whatever.
Yeah.
Free money and weed for everybody.
Yo, man. Like, what if
we should have a new president every day?
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
Whoa.
Whoa,
And we
dude.
can have all the gods be good gods too. We won't need the evil gods. We're only the good ones. Everything will be great.
Yeah, man.
yeah, you pick up what I'm putting down. So yeah, until we actually know where the machines are, we can't claim any fraud. So
Yeah. So to finish your decision, you must go to the area in order to do so. It is a temple of sorts, and from there you can select who is where. Before you ask, I do not know where it is currently located as it moves, and I currently do not have access to your realm.
Understood. So he passes that along. We now have a new piece of information.
there's a temple that moves around that okay, well, I mean, is there anything else he can tell us about it, or does he know what we can do to find it? Like, okay, he may not be able to tell us where it is, but any clues about it, or who would know where to find it, would be useful.
Okay, so if that's passed along to him, then he will answer. The ancients should have a record of where it presently is.
Okay, so apparently we're on the right track with trying to restore some of this stuff and figure out how to translate what's going on.
The ancients should have a record of it. That is interesting. What is it called so that we can find it in these records?
He said it was the area, so I don't know if he has a name for it other than that.
Please find out, or if he knows how it's referred to in these records.
Well, we'll see. We'll ask that question to him.
It is. Hold on. It is known as the. Where the hell? I'm looking through my notes. I'm trying to find this. It is known as the. It is known as the Taipai.
I'm sorry, the what?
The Taipai.
No, that's pad thai.
I think he meant Tide Pod.
Just don't eat
He
it.
said Pai Mei. I mean, we can need to find an old man in a mountain that wants to kill everybody.
Always.
Moving temple called the TIEPIE?
Yep.
The Taipai. moves around, but the ancients should have a record of where it currently is. That's confusing. How would they have a record of where it currently is if it is currently moving around? Because the ancient, did they have a way to predict it or what?
Oh, you weren't there for that. So back at the other facility, they were going through logs of like records of like everything from when it was functional, and it had been functional up until about 25,000 years ago. So there's a lot of like meteorological data that it had been recording.
Okay.
So it might have something to do with that.
Huh.
Or maybe like they have another way of like how to track it. Like maybe one of them had been there at one point, and they have some way to like keep it like tracked through that. They play something on it, like a magical sigil or something.
I guess we'll just have to find these records and okay. That's super. These have been like two of the most helpful, informative sessions we've had.
Yeah.
Now let's go kill somebody before I forget how it's done.
Speaking of such a thing.
Oh boy.
It is almost 11 now.
Yeah. You could attack the altar though.
Yeah, I mean, like you could. I mean, it does have flesh. It does have a heartbeat.
I came across shot magic stones at it. So, no, there's no reason to do that. I think.
So is this god sealed? Is that why he has no access to the realm?
Yeah.
I think that must be what.
Okay.
Other than through these anchor points and through his patrons, yeah, pretty much. I mean, not through his patrons, but through his patronees, whatever it is, warlocks.
Yeah.
That's an interesting idea. That a sealed away god could be could still manage to reach out and power up some warlocks.
It's not a
Depends
very
on the
good
god.
skill.
It's what? What's that?
It depends on the god. In this case, as a god of creeds and nobles, if there's a noble who needs help or requires something very much, could potentially be sort of like sending a flare out or putting a message in a bottle that would eventually find its way where it needs to be.
Yeah. What were you saying, Trey?
Oh, I just said it wasn't a good seal.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem didn't go away, so we don't know if it was a good seal.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as the dungeon master said, it's 11 o'clock. So maybe next time we can. I don't know. I feel like going further into this cave, seeing what's down there. And we've gotten our information, but if this.
I mean, if you want to go further in this cave and see like what's on in there, I'm down for that.
Yeah, I think I kind of.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you now that we know what goes on. I mean, unless we need to learn anything about this altar from the guy.
Well, I'm thinking it used to be called the Citadel, right? And was like a great big old city. So maybe the ruins are down there. Maybe there's some cool stuff.
Fair point.
We've already got a bunch of cool stuff. Let's go get some more cool stuff and then put all our cool stuff in one cool place. Make more cool stuff.
Alrighty. Well,
But for now,
if you guys are traveling deeper on in, after traveling for a little bit, you do run into what appears to be like glowing golems from a distance. But after getting close, glowing golems.
Golems, okay.
Yes. But after getting closer, I guess Pardis would actually be the only one who actually would recognize this because he's like the only one who would know about them because they were involved in a legal case forever ago, as being known as magmans.
Lovely.
They're little magma elementals that are not fun to deal with. And we'll pick up from there next session.
Sweet. All right. Looking forward to that. Maybe don't immediately shoot them in the head. We'll see what they want first.
I was about to say.
Last time we just murdered a whole colony of goblins that were evil, but maybe weren't.
Yeah, possibly.
Hopefully when they tell tales about us, they don't mention that part.
I mean,
well, I was gonna say
they're
could have told them.
Yeah. And also, there are no records of that on Twitch or YouTube because hotel Wi-Fi. So as far as the community is concerned, it never happened.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So maybe we should stop talking about it on, live internet.
Yeah. Stop outing yourself. Yeah, to like your own crimes.
I don't feel bad. I know how things go on D&D. You see goblins, you murder the goblins. That's how it goes.
Yeah, always.
There is a legal precedent for it.
Yep. Pardis has over in court when inevitably that a court case comes up. Because supposedly the goblins were working with the villagers nearby, so.
Oh, well, maybe we need to take them out too. All right. Good night,
Anyways, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Good night, everybody. Thanks to those who showed up. See you all whenever we meet again.
Good night, y'all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good night.
Good night.